catch some more fish.
All day, every day.
Take care, Eric.
Hey everybody, Phil Friedman here. Nice fishing on the Independence. I just talked to Brian, the captain of the boat. He says they have 58 bluefin tuna, 20 to 150 pounds. Really excellent bluefin tuna by going on board the Long Range Independence from Point Loma Sport Fishing.
The El Patron operates out of 22nd Street Landing in beautiful San Pedro, California, and they have a slew of 1.5-day trips where you'll fish with only 10 anglers on board. Bluefin tuna fishing, yellowtail fishing is outstanding in Southern California, and there's no better way to do it than on the El Patron. 310-832-8304 or visit 22ndstreet.com.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California. It's a beautiful Sunday morning, and it's so good to start my day off with each and every one of you. We're here in Surfside, California, sandwiched between Seal Beach and Huntington Beach, and while it's a little overcast, it's another beautiful day in SoCal, and we've got a lot to cover with you. We're going to cover the bluefin tuna situation. Has there been any more sign of albacore? We've got 3 Southern California catches going on so far. What's up with the bluefin? Why is everybody out on Tanner Bank? How about the Ensenada bite? How about some more white sea bass up in the Channel Islands? We have got that all for you and so much more. You know what time it is, my friends. It is time for the morning briefing. Good morning to you all. Oh my God, it's good to be with you all. Thank you so much for starting your day off here on Friedman Adventures. It is so great, and we hit a milestone, 10,000 subscribers, and we owe that all to each and every one of you. Thank you so very much for coming to the channel. Well over 500,000 people now, or I should say 500,000 views in the last 28 days, pushing up toward 18,000 hours of content consumed by all of you, and 10,000 subscribers. Man, that happened so fast, and I am so grateful to all of you. Thank you very, very much. Don't forget, hit that like button, share these reports if you are enjoying them. Tick that bell, you'll be notified when there's new content. Make a comment down below, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Great to be with you all. You saw in the lead-in the El Patron out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro. They have all kinds of great stuff, and you gotta love Raul Tirado Jr. from Sharking Crew. Raul was at the beach with his family, and he couldn't help but look out there off Paradise Cove. Well, let me let you take a listen to what Raul did. He's at the family with his beach, and he's got his mind out fishing.
We need to be out there on the boat. Tuna boiling. You can see them right here by Paradise Cove. Tuna out there boiling.
Ah, Raul, great stuff. We love it. Funny, funny stuff. I mean, fishermen are all the same. You drive by a puddle of water, you look at it, and you say, I wonder if there's any fish in that puddle of water. It is really great. Also, the Independence had some very good fishing out there on Tanner Bank. We'll get into that with you all. All right, let's jump across the border and talk about what's happening down there in Ensenada. Greg Bates, one of our really close Friedman Adventures family members. In fact, he's helped in so many of the great projects we've had going on. He jumped on board the Oceanside 95 to do some cooking, and they went down there off Ensenada, had a little bit of nighttime fish, some daytime fish like that 20 to 30 to 40 pound stuff. There's more dorado starting to move into that Ensenada area. We're also seeing a lot of yellows on kelps. So they were down there, and he said, man, you really got to drop that line down to get a bite in some cases. That 25-pound fluorocarbon with a belly hooked bait. And I'll tell you, choosing that good hot bait makes all the difference in the world, said Greg. I know I say it all the time, but Greg also saying the very same thing. That makes an incredible difference. That okay trip down there, not bad at all. I think he said 30-40 on the bluefin tuna, and then there's a mix of other stuff. However, it has been pretty darn tough for San Diego-based full-day boats here in the last 48 hours or so. I mean, really tough. Before I get into that, I'll jump across the border and stay there for a moment, talk about what the pongueros and everybody are doing down there. They're finding more and more kelp patty fish. There's some of that bluefin down there. Some days it bites, some days it doesn't. You know how bluefin tuna are so fickle. They're driving everybody crazy this year. A lot of the boys on the sport boats have had enough of it, and they want albacore, but I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll get into that in a moment also. Back to those pongueros. Those boys are starting to find some dorado on the kelps and a lot more yellowtail on the kelps. Kelps are starting to load up, and that is really, really good. Trolling Mad Mac lures down there, still scoring some bluefin tuna from time to time. And it wouldn't surprise me to see somebody down there on a ponga catch an albacore today or tomorrow, something like that, because there's enough of that noise still around. We have 3 fish so far this year, and commercial boats, and I'm talking about seiners, according to Captain Tom Holland, have made some sets in U.S. waters, and mixed with some yellowfin tuna have been some albacore. Not a lot, but enough to indicate that something is going on here. So we'll keep our eyes on that. You take a look at blackfin sport fishing in Punta Banda, and really good fishing on big bonita and some barracuda. There's been excellent calico bass fishing for the pongueros, the guys that want to focus on that. A lot of people have that mentality of do or die bluefin tuna. But man, if you just stopped and fished that local bite with the barracuda and the yellowtail and the calico bass and all that other stuff, you'd have some really good time. Back to San Diego, full day trips have been tough. We're starting to see dorado, but it's been tough fishing. San Diego had a very difficult day yesterday. I'm not sure they had anything, and that doesn't happen very often. Sea Watch 4 dorado, Mission Bell 5 dorado. We're in transition here. They're going to get back on that fish again here. Maybe today it'll happen. And don't let this lull you into a state of complacency. Like if you're on the San Diego tomorrow or you're on the Mission Bell, you still need to bring from 25 to, I would say, at least 60 pound. Some of those Daiwa Sakana lures are really good. Those small, shiny type lures, Cold Sniper type lures, really effective on 60 pound, 100 to 130 gram. You toss those right in the middle of a foamer, and sometimes they gobble those things up like you cannot believe. Nighttime bluefin tuna fishing. Well, I talked to the independents and I said, hey, Brian, how'd you do last night? You had an extraordinary day yesterday with almost, well, over 60 bluefin tuna. And he said, Phil, you know what? Guys were so tired, nobody wanted to fish anymore. They'd had enough. We caught so many bluefin during the day. I'm really having a remarkable trip on the Independence and several other boats. But as I mentioned to you, not only the full day boats, but some other boys down there are having very slow, tough fishing right now. Day trips, and even better than that. And a few of the guys still slamming them. New low end limits of bluefin tuna for 2 days on the new low end. Nice hit for them. Several other boats are getting into that kind of fishing, and then a lot of guys are struggling right now. So it just seems like that bluefin is acting fickle again. I don't believe it's water temp or anything like that. Water up there in the 70-degree range, bluefin biting that really well. In fact, their metabolism speeds up to the point where they feed even more, go on the bite even more. It seems like you see more dramatic and more crazy bites when that water temperature warms up. So I just think we're in between something here. We're getting that flood of dorado. I saw several kelp loaded up for private boaters who had some extraordinary fishing with nice yellows, and dorado starting to move in. So we're just in a little transition, and maybe we come out of it today. Who knows? I know that Jacob on the Pegasus sent me a message this morning and told me, hey, we're out here in this cool water, Phil. We're jigging for albacore, straight albie, do or die. We are all over it. We'll have it. Breaking news for you shortly. And I said, you're screwing with me, right, Jacob? And he said, yeah, I couldn't resist. So Pegasus is on Tannerbank with everybody else and trying to get a bluefin or two to buy. They also catch some nice fat yellows out there in that neck of the woods. There's some guys that are out on Cortez Bank. Yo-Yo Iron out there can be extremely good for yellowtail. Don't fish it with anything less than 60. I even fish it with 100 pounds. At night, the nighttime bites have been kind of off and on also. There's been some really good ones. The key to your success, dropping when the captain tells you to drop and knowing what depth your jig is at. And once again, that colored metered line that changes color every 100 feet or so is really important. That will tell you how deep your jig is. And right now, 300 to 400 grams on those jigs at night seem to be working best of all. So a little bit hit and miss, and hopefully it'll come together. LA Orange County based boats, the Freedom had 15 yellows to 25 pounds. Amigo, a lot of these guys, Thunderbird, are also trying to fish that Tannerbank fish. But remember, it's July, almost August. I can't even believe that. and it's a weekend. So you've got a lot of weekend boat pressure right now, putting tremendous pressure on all the fisheries. You get that off of there, and it might even kick in a little bit better come Monday, Tuesday. We might see this all rebound. It might be a byproduct of all of that boat pressure because it is substantial here this weekend. All right, let's continue let's talk islands. Coronado Islands down there in San Diego area in Mexican waters. Need a passport to fish there. Few yellows there, some barracuda, bonita, calico bass. You wonder if some of the full day guys aren't going to look at that today. They hate to throw the towel in on the offshore thing because it's just a temporary lull. It'll come roaring back. San Clemente Island, not a lot of guys fishing it, but enough to catch a few yellows. Good calico fishing off the hook. Calico bass fishing, good rock fishing. Catalina Island, kind of hit and miss right now. Nothing to write home about. There's some bonita and barracuda, a few yellowtail from time to time, whitefish, sheepshead, that kind of thing. And then we move you up in the Channel Islands where they've got some wind, a little bit of breezy weather, but they still are catching some beautiful sheepshead like that one on our cover shot caught on the Aloha Spirit by that lucky angler. Congratulations to her. That was an exceptional catch. No question about that. And also plenty of rockfish, but they're still getting really good calico bass fishing. In fact, the island tack yesterday, man, they had the bass chasing bait out of the water, boiling all around. Tremendous calico fishing up there, and some halibut, barracuda, that kind of stuff. Same thing up there out of Ventura Harbor, sport fishing. They're picking away at the local sand bass, calico bass, Island Spirit, California, out of Ventura Harbor, sport fishing with some nice local fishing, top off with whitefish, sheepshead, and rockfish. And up there out of Santa Barbara, man, still really excellent rock fishing. Coral Sea, limits of rockfish on board the Stardust. They had 20 lings and limits of rockfish, so some really good stuff going on there. All right, our local bite, staying close to the coast, half, 3/4 day stuff. San Diego, great calico fishing down there for the local boats fishing Point Loma and La Jolla and areas like that. They've had an exceptional calico bass year, one of the best in many, many years. Really been good. And remember, if you're going to get a bite on calico bass, or say even sand bass, more calicos though, drop your line test down. Fish fluoro, you can even go down to 12 pound, and you will murder them fishing with a chovy. 12 pound, 15 pound for sure. We like Opsin fluorocarbon. www.opsinusa.com. Put in FA at checkout, and you'll get a free gift and a hug and a kiss from owner Greg Brown. Drop that test down, and you'll get bit every single time. I see it all the time. Guys are fishing 30 pound, and they're like, God, I'm doing exactly what that guy's doing. Choosing a good hot bait. I'm doing exactly, but he gets bit every single time. He's fishing lighter line. That is for sure. So keep that in mind. Moving you up the coast, same thing. They're out of Dana Wharf. Seeing really good calico fishing this year, and occasional halibut, sand bass, and that kind of stuff. Up here in the LA Orange County area, off of Long Beach, San Pedro, whoa! We've seen some good fishing, a tremendous amount of boat pressure. Come tomorrow, it's going to get even better as some guys are struggling a bit because there is so much boat pressure. But even the guys that are struggling are doing really good. Patriot, Western Pride, Monte Carlo, Victory, limits of sand bass yesterday. That's not struggling, is it? That's good fishing. All those boys with good fishing. City of Long Beach, 150 sand bass, 30 barracuda. On board the Monte Carlo, they said surface iron's good on the barracuda. Make sure you're bringing your surface iron. I like a Tatty C. I don't think the color's all that important. A lot of guys are saying the mint color jigs are working really, really well. I like blue and white or a jig with the paint chipped off it, as long as it swims really, really good. And a slow to medium kind of grind for barracuda. Most cases, you kind of want that jig to just wag its tail and entice one of those gar to come up and bite it. That is so much fun. And barracuda is really good eating as long as it is well taken care of. Most of the time, it should be iced right away, and then you'll have some really delicious fish to eat. So really exceptional, good fishing. And we talked about the bite up there in the Channel Islands already with the Island Tack and several other boats getting in on a mix of barracuda and sand bass, calico bass, all kinds of different rockfish and whitefish and sheepshead. It's been really, really good fishing. John Flood is fishing the breakwalls here, and alone he had 62 calico bass, including some really good big ones, and John released every single one of those little devils. So way to go, John. Nice going and some really outstanding fishing. A little bit of a lull on our bluefin tuna bite for some, and for others, New Loan and other guys, really, really good. We'll continue to watch all that fish flooding in, and those commercial catches of albacore suggest that there might be more. You know, somebody said double jig strike on the albacore the other day on the Lex Sea out of Dana Ware Sport Fishing. Man, I bet there was some bait fish somewhere around there. Well, maybe, maybe not. You know, I remember times where you get 2 jig fish and a bait, 2 jigs and no fish, 2 jig fish and 100 fish. You never know what's happening with those albacore, and you never know if we're going to see even more of those fish this year. Once again, 10,000 subscribers. God, I can't thank you enough for that. I owe that all to you. You guys have been great. The Friedman Adventures family, whether I ask you to donate clothing to send to our brothers and sisters in Mexico, or I ask you to share these reports or subscribe to the channel, you're always there for me, and I will never, ever forget it. Hey, I hope you have a lovely Sunday, and more than anything, I hope to see you really, really soon. Thanks again, my friends.